You are now listening to the National Show with Gangsterville and McGee. The National Show, the National Show, the National Show, no show, no show. The National Show, the National Show, the National Show, no show, no show. Hey, how y'all doing, No Nation? This is the National Show with McGee and Gangsterville. Make sure y'all follow us at youtube.com/NATIONOLE. Also subscribe and follow us on Instagram.com/NATIONOLE. Please follow. And then finally on X, follow us, x.com/NATIONOLESHOW, the National Show. We are live. You know what we're talking about week after week, Florida State football. Where do we start?
My God. First off, big spelling podcast. We are a big spelling podcast. We do a whole lot of spelling, right? To start off every time. Man, I've been thinking for the last few days about how great college football is, right? How much fun college football is, dude. It is so much fun to go to these games. The fanfare, the excitement, the shared emotion across, huge crowd, like the bands and the colors and everything, man. People travel far and wide to go to these games. And when you don't go to the games, to sit back on a Friday night or a Saturday or a Thursday night, whatever it is, and to watch college football, a couple games in a row. I love college football. I love college football.
Oh yeah.
Why my guys like making it less fun? This is less fun than it's supposed to be, right? It's not even just watching the Florida State games. Like, that's just misery, man. That's just painful. It's just been painful, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about Memphis. We'll talk about everything. But like, I was watching Georgia, Kentucky this weekend, and that was a great game. Like, it was a great college football game, my dude. Fantastic. How come every time I'm like, damn, Kentucky's out there just busting their ass? What the fuck? The Seminoles never fucking bust their ass anymore. Like, what the fuck? Like, I was getting mad about the Noles when they weren't even on the television. Like, it's messed up all of my college football experience. Not even like, it's man. It's tough, bro. Sorry for yelling.
Yeah. No, you good, and you hit the hammer on the nail, man. It's to the point to where you're watching other college football games, and you're like, damn, like, they're even better than us. You know what I mean? I'm sitting up there watching FAMU, like, damn, they offense look more fluid than across the railroad tracks. Like, what the hell is going on, man? Like,
dude, Miami's going to USF this week, right? And now, we'll talk about that game a little later. We talk about games. Right. That's what we do. We talk about games, right?
Right.
Honestly, that might be a lower spread than if Miami was coming here. Yeah. Like, they might, like USF might be getting more points at home against Miami than Florida State would get at home against Miami right now.
Yeah. I could totally see that. The way we rolling right now. And I still say the jury's out in Miami because they play Florida and just a bunch of lower tiered schools. But you got to give them credit for no matter who's put in front of them, you've seen nothing but excellence on offense and defense. That's all you can ask for. So yeah.
Unfortunately, you can say the same thing about Cal right now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll get to that. Let's talk about last week. Let's talk about last week. Let's get it behind us. Let's get it up. Actually, how about we just Forget about it. Let's just talk about the Bucks because the Bucks are looking all right, man. You can't start any better than undefeated, baby. How about them Buccos, right?
Yeah, man.
No Vita Vea is scary because that's our guy. But if we had to face any team in the NFL without him this week, the Broncos are exactly who I'd want to face. Right? Like, there's a lot of teams I wouldn't want to face right now. We're playing the Broncos at the right time.
Right. And offense is clicking, bro. Baker Mayfield looks comfortable. Oh man, that comment that he made about Bryce Young just was very heartfelt, man. Because it's like people are writing the kid off because he's being written down, and that's literally him in Cleveland X amount of years ago or whatever. And he's a walking testimony that you with the right consistency and the right tools around you, you can thrive. The Baker Mayfield situation, the switch from Tom Brady to Baker Mayfield is what I was expecting from JT to DJU, but I'm sorry, I just had to put that in there, bro. I just had to. But it went positive with the Bucks, man.
You remember, you were probably one of 3 or 4 people I said it to and can vouch for me, but when Baker came into the league, like when he came into the league and went to Cleveland, I was like, this isn't going to work, but I really hope he's a Buccaneers quarterback someday. Years before it happened, like I said it to you, I said it to a few people. I have this little circle of Buccaneers fans, It includes you, it includes the legend T-Berry, it includes a few other very special people, and I said it to all of them, dude. And so I'm happy it's working out like this. Like he would never have been. Cleveland wasn't the place. He gets what Bryce Young's going through, right? Like he gets it. Like you're not. And honestly, I talked about this with Cornelius on Bet Your Ash yesterday. It's not like it's not the fairest system, the draft. In fact, it is incredibly un-American, which is crazy considering it's an American creation. It's bullshit that you don't have any say in which of your first jobs you take, right? Like, so he didn't get to say, like, no, I don't want to work for you. I want to work for him, even if it's 90% of what you're going to pay for me, which is what every young American gets to, decide. It was just the wrong spot.
I bet you Arch Manning do.
He gets it. Right? He gets it. That's why he told Eli. He's like, don't worry about the money or whatever it is. Tell him, fuck you. Right? You wait for the right position, right? And not everybody had that leverage, right? Not everybody who has the last name Manning, right, has that leverage. Elway was able to say, fuck it, I'll play baseball. Kyler Murray was able to say, fuck it, I'll play baseball. Not everybody was able to say that, So, Drew Stanton did go play baseball, but he probably wasn't getting drafted all that high anyway. But the point is, it
is uneven, unfair, unjust,
and it's about being in the right position for any of these athletes. It's stupid that we put the best quarterbacks on the and we're putting the best quarterbacks on the worst teams, presumably with shitty offensive lines or shitty offensive coordinators. And next thing you know, we're wondering why, whatever the older car, why he's fucking dumb at the end of his rookie year. Well, he got fucking sacked 87 times, and they weren't regular, let me hit the ground quick sacks. He was getting drilled, right? And WWF. And we got to worry about all the best quarterbacks that are always getting drafted high, getting killed. Like, it's just crazy. It's just a stupid system. Man.
Totally agree, man. Totally agree.
I'm just fired up. You can get me to go off on anything right now, dude. I've been doing the yoga, I've been exercising, I've been trying to do the breathing exercises, and I've just been fucking angry all fucking week. And it is because my guys just aren't trying. And it makes me, I'm livid, man. So we got to go back to Florida State. This is me taking it back to Florida State. Obviously, this is me transitioning back to topic. But I don't know. I found myself at one point this week asking myself, Did Gangstaville and I cause this by launching this YouTube channel and like taking these podcasts over? Because the second we launched this fucking YouTube channel, everything's been fucking weird. These guys, they're not even trying. With bad coaching, bad decision making on field, and I'm just like, did we fuck up? Did we cause like the trajectory of the world to go in a weird direction by launching this? Is it our fault?
Mm-hmm. It's not our fault, man. This is gonna happen regardless, bro. And to pivot back to the NFL, some of the positives I get from after our losses on Sunday, I get to see so many former Noles dominating the league, man. Jared Verse has been balling. Coleman has been balling. Like, and these are not your average, okay, we just lost a player to the draft. These are like, top 10 draft picks, like impact players in the NFL right now that were on our team before. Now you got a bunch of underclassmen that are stepping into roles where they're getting more reps, and then you have a bunch of players that were, transferred in, and I'm kind of in the middle, because at the same time we can't hold them accountable to what Jared Verse accomplished on the field the last 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Because that's that once in a lifetime talent that we've been so lucky to see, going back to Jermaine Johnson. You know what I'm saying? We've been blessed. We've been lucky to have that, because teams go decades without that, and we got it back to back. And right now, I feel like we may not have that, but I feel collectively we should be producing more than what we see on the field. Something that comes to mind with me, what's up with this NIL stuff? Is the money getting to their head? Because it's now, instead of starving college students, that's, because I grew up with Chris Davis and Broderick Bunkley and Chris Ricks and all of them cats that was like, hey, I got to get to the draft. I got to, get my family fed. I got to get out of this situation to, now you're fed. Now
That's a thing, man. That's a thing. We talk about it with boxers. Like, it's hard to get up and do that road work once your fucking sheets have 5,000 thread count or whatever,
Yep.
And you and I have had this conversation of like mercenaries versus like a crew of guys that kind of came up together, and when you get to the point where you're bringing, we see it in Colorado, you're bringing huge numbers of transfers in via NIL and the portal, right? Like, it's not as like in the blood. You know what I mean? It's not this is, where I'm supposed to be, and me and my guys been going through this shit for years together, and, it's a different situation. And
yep. I agree, man.
There's a balance to it, right? There was a balance to bringing in Jared Verse from Buffalo. Buffalo? Yeah, Buffalo. Or Albany? Who came from Albany?
No, it was Albany.
Albany. Somebody came from Albany, and somebody before that came from Buffalo, which is why I'm confusing it. But it's a balance to like bring in one or two special guys to accent a team, a nucleus that's already established. It's a whole different thing when you're bringing in 10, 15 key players, or guys you need to be key players, and they're not bleeding garnet. You know what I mean? They're bleeding green. It's a whole different situation. So
and now I'm getting to wonder, is like, okay, why isn't the younger guys getting their shine? I think there was a tweet that one of the wide receivers posted, let them young boys play, and then the cornerback posted it. Both of them are freshmen or whatever. And it's like, okay, I get it. They're kind of upperclassmen. We got them out the portal or whatever. But it comes a time, if they're not clicking, they're not producing. Why aren't we seeing, the football we grew up with, man? If you're not playing right, take his ass off the field. Put the next man up. You know what I mean?
Rebuild it. Reestablish the identity, man. Right. But, if they ain't doing it, get them off there. We're supposed to be 3 deep at every fucking position. Who fucking cares if we win the rest of the games or not? Let's go find out how deep we are. Let's go,
And I'm not even, it doesn't even
Man.
have to be, I'm not telling the coach how to coach. I'm not saying you got to fire him for the whole season or whatever, but sometimes you might have to sit out that game and let that other freshman step into your place. And you know he's not going to perform as much as the junior or the senior is, but at least he's going to get that valuable on-field experience. And he has a bigger learning curve than the junior or the senior that's out there messing up playing like the freshman, man. And I'm seeing a lot of that, bro.
It's just crazy. And, you know, I keep yelling about players not trying, but I'm also seeing, I mean, there's other problems here.
Oh, yeah.
This is coaching. This is program establishment, attitude throughout, like everything. This is all of a sudden, this is a mess. And I don't know if that mess was there last year and JT's continuity, that the continuity that came with JT was enough to make up for it and mask it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because as soon as he was injured, chaos. And if that's the case, the Jets got to feel really good about their future. He might slide into that Aaron Rodgers seat as soon as Aaron Rodgers is done. Who looked very good last night.
Yeah.
I mean, he's older than you, right? He's younger than me, but not by much. Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, he's only a couple years younger than me, so that means he's probably a few years older than you. Yeah. Could you imagine going out and playing Thursday night football on the NFL right now?
None of that, bro. None of that. Yeah, he's amazing and talented.
Impressive. I've always been hesitant to give him his due. Mm-hmm. I've always been hesitant, and that's I'm an asshole. You know, I'm an asshole. I should give him a lot more credit. He's really a great quarterback.
And I'm also so glad that JT got drafted into that situation where he can sit at least a year behind. And the way it looks, it's going to be another year. I think Aaron's not retiring this year. So he at least get 2 solid years to sit behind Aaron Rodgers to learn and soak behind one of the GOATs.
And it's the best it's the best chance he has of succeeding in the NFL. He was coming off a pretty bad injury. Like he didn't want to have to be in a position where he really had to play as a rookie. But if he can sit around on a lower price point, so it's worth it to keep him around, right? Yeah. If he can stick around and just like learn the system, soak up the game, get in sync with the coaching staff, soak up as much as that Aaron Rodgers energy as you can, go do the fucking ayahuasca with him in the offseason, like all that shit, and fucking get dialed in with the energies that control the world like Aaron Rodgers has, right? Like it's worked. Follow that pattern, man. Follow that pattern. Learn, bro. Learn.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But that also.
What's up? Are we going on an ayahuasca retreat in the off season? Gangstaville. You want to go do podcasts on ayahuasca, and go do an off season workout down in wherever. I think it's in like Peru or I can't remember where they go, but there's a. Run away? Go try it?
Right.
Might make us better podcasters.
For real. Might be able to put more energy into our football team after a ayahuasca session.
I believe they use the term retreat. I believe it's an ayahuasca retreat.
There it is, an ayahuasca retreat. Yes. But to pivot back, JT got a hell of a spot, and I think losing him, he wasn't just a mercenary. He bled Garner and Gold.
Right.
Transfer in, but he was there for like 4 or 5 years straight. And every time he stepped on the field, he was always doing it for the school, for the fans. And this is a guy that was booed by those same fans.
Yeah. And we literally don't have that. Like you know, that's that, and therein lies. Like, I can't believe I'm about to say the words that are about to come out of my mouth. I knew this was going to happen today, too. And I woke up, like, I can't believe I got to say this, and I'm fucking on a camera, right? Like, in front of Gangstaville and in front of the 3 people that might be watching this, right? Maybe Dabo and Clemson are doing it right by not taking in transfers. They have a fucking team. Now, I'm not saying they're bringing in all the right people, and they could probably benefit from like 1 or 2, right? But if you're going to compile a team like Colorado did, like completely via the transfer portal, versus the way Clemson has, just completely through recruiting and coming up together. It seems to me like the Clemson model is better. Now, the best move, like in anytime you're figuring out a system, the best move is hybridization, right? The best parts of both. Combine them. That's what we've done with the American democratic experiment. That's why, like, we use socialist shit in our fucking democracy, in our republic. And our democratic republic has socialized tons of shit, whatever you want to fill in the blank with, right? So the move is probably, though, rather than 50-50 or like 75-25, I am suddenly feeling like the play is you want to go like 85% Clemson and 15% Colorado. Right? I think we were a little closer to like 60% Clemson, 40% Colorado, maybe 75, 35, whatever. Or, but like, I think the move is way more from within, way more come up, bleeding gold or garnet and gold, and then just bring in a few special guys.
I agree, but to a degree. I think it has to be broken down into specifics, and I would go to more towards a 70-30 split, between 70 being your recruits that you keep and then 30 being your people that you bring in. But when you get to breaking down the 30, you can't have that 30 be like those pivotal positions like middle linebacker, safety, quarterback, you know what I mean? It has to be those positions where you can swap a bunch of people: defensive line, offensive line, running back, receiver. Those are the positions where you can get some people in and out, because there doesn't have as much of an impact as per se a quarterback. When you do a quarterback, now you're playing the lottery system, because if it works, great job. You know what I mean? We can go all the way back to the Alabama quarterback that's with the Eagles now or whatever. He what's his name?
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. You know what I'm saying? He came in first year in Oklahoma, boom, did his damn thing or whatever. So it can work, but my thing is, when it's not working, are we operating the same way we did before the NIL? Are we going to, okay, it's not working, let me sit Drew Weatherford and put in Xavier Lee. Let me sit Xavier Lee and put in this next person or whatever. Yeah. Or are we thinking more business-wise, as I got $7 million invested into this player, he has to play because we have ads attached to him, and you know what I'm saying? And,
no, you're absolutely right, man.
Is that what's going on? You know what
I mean?
And
the position is a big factor, right? It's a lot harder to bring in a quarterback than it is other places, unless it's the right quarterback, like it was in Jalen Hurts' instance. You're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right. It's just a tough situation. The other thing to think about, though, is as you go closer to 30%, right? The more transfers you're bringing in, the less the retaining recruits are playing the next year, and the more likely it is for them to transfer, which becomes creates a need for even more transfers for you the next year. So there's a potential that the more you take, it starts spiraling out of control, and you have to take more and more every year to keep refilling needs, because it's getting harder and harder to keep your guys. So I would think that it's important to keep that in mind and keep the balance. It's delicate, man. You got like managing any fucking group of humans. It's a delicate thing. You got to keep everybody happy. You don't have to keep everybody happy. You got to keep the right people happy and bring in more of the right people than the wrong people, regardless of how you're bringing them in. It's tough. It's a tough job. Being a head football coach in in college right now, it's not just calling plays anymore.
Yeah, but it's like you say, as long as you be strategic with it, man. I wouldn't bring in transfer players where you have a bunch of star recruitments at or whatever. Like if I got a bunch of recruit receivers, I don't need to bring them in. But a prime example is 2-3 years ago when he was bringing in 5-6 offensive linemen every offseason. That was cool because that's where we was bleeding at, going way back to Jimbo Fisher. You know what I'm saying? So when he was bringing, so in positions like that, it really don't matter because your freshman can still play.
I don't know if it's that it doesn't matter. I would think that offensive linemen are better suited to adapt to new situations on the college and on the NFL level because they have been bred to work together and cooperation. They have been bred. I shouldn't use the word bred when we're talking about athletes. I'm sorry. But like these guys are big, beings. So it's easy to fall into that. But what's enabled them to succeed has been protecting somebody, so like they have a mentality like I'm here to help, like that's just the nature of an offensive tackle. That's part of how coaches on the high school level, you have big guys and you're like, you're actually better for the offensive line. You're actually better for the defensive line because you're an asshole. Like whatever it is, like that. There's a personality type that enables certain positions to excel. The guys that excel at offensive linemen just so happen to have a similar personality type to the types of people you want to bring into any organization. So I just think it's easier on the offensive line to integrate them into the pre-existing roster than it is like you're talking about, where all of a sudden a quarterback has to show up where he's not the guy who's learned how to protect others and it's all about others. He's the one that's had to count on other people. And that's a whole different dynamic to introduce to a roster. This is really fucking fascinating. I've never thought about this, man. Thank you.
That's a great fucking point you just put up with the lineman to the quarterback to the lineman working together. And
I have a psychology degree.
That it's showing. It's showing. It's showing. That's dope because that's exactly that. That explains it. That explains it all right there, bro. The lineman, you can. It's easier to hide because you're working as a team, but as a quarterback, you need those other players to produce to make you look good, and vice versa. But you need them more because they got to catch, they got to block. Everything has to work, and I don't know. That's why I feel like that position, it requires a little more oomph in it. Like I'm gonna bring back like EJ Manuel. EJ Manuel was one of the great quarterbacks that we had or whatever. I'm not gonna say nothing bad about him, but
shout out.
Yeah, shout out EJ Manuel. Yeah, one of the greatest quarterbacks that we've had. But one thing that he's always been critique for is not having that that separation, that I'm gonna bring the dog, the Dracula, the monster, the Tim Tebow, per se, who is, if I compare him to EJ got all of the skills, the precision, the quarterback mind, but Tebow just has so much of that rah-rah in him that, it pushes above and beyond. And that's, I feel like what we're missing right now from the quarterback position. Like DJ is not a bad quarterback. As much as we want to dog him, he has put the ball where it's needed to be plenty of times. Over and over, we're getting drop passes, we're getting no blocking. But I feel like in those situations, it takes a quarterback that has that to, get beyond those issues and stuff or whatever. And I don't even know what we have behind him. That's the sad part, bro. Like,
it's crazy that like at every position, it's not one position. You're absolutely right. Everybody is fucking up. Right?
Yeah.
So here's my, I don't know what the word is. Question. Definitely my question. Here's my desire. Maybe. We talked about how important the offensive tackle position is. Alex Atkins has been gone for the first 3 games of the year. Does he, coming back, improve the offensive line unit and therefore the offensive line play, and therefore we have some positive ripples, and maybe suddenly the running game's more effective, suddenly the quarterback has a little more time, suddenly, like there's not a position that that can have as much positive effect when improved as an offensive line. So, like, can him coming back, I mean, we just need a little bit better play can lead to a little bit better play here, a little bit better play here. You know, just some positive momentum, some positive ripple effect through the organization, through the program. Can we get this from him returning?
I mean, we can't. Yeah, we can.
I know your answer. Nah, I can tell. I can tell from the way you took the breath. I know. I saw you. Before you start talking, I know. I hear you.
Because the thing is, if that is the issue, then you know what's next. He gonna be the head coach in Gainesville next year or something, or somewhere. You know what I'm
honestly, he deserves the job. Fix it. If you can fix whatever's happening right now, if you can fix it, you deserve whatever job's open next year. Right? And I won't be mad. And you know what? Maybe he gets the job that, maybe he gets his boss's job as a result of it. Who knows? Who knows?
I wouldn't fire him after 1 year. He's gonna get at least another year.
Well, it would be 3 years.
No, I mean after
one bad year. I see.
Yeah, after one bad year.
No, but yeah, well, you know as well as I do. Florida State, rich motherfucking Florida State boosters can be real impulsive.
But they just gave him that extension, bro.
That's true. It's expensive to be impulsive right now. Very expensive to be impulsive right now. Yeah.
And plus, I just say, just give them justice, man. Like, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You don't know if certain people are politicking for certain people to play. And then also just with the volatile situation of college football right now, you just said it yourself. It's hard to coach in college football right now with all of the added pressure, NIL stuff going on, all the regular off-field shit that be going on, man. Media coverage, scrutinizing these kids like professional athletes now.
Well, they're getting paid now. We better scrutinize them like professional athletes.
Yeah.
Also, these guys have commitments that come with some of that NIL money. People got to handle their business. They got to have meetings with their fucking accountant and their lawyers. Make sure all their contracts are straight. Like it's a whole lot of responsibility. You want to be a grown up? Go be a motherfucking grown up and handle your fucking job, or that money turns off. Right. You're making money because you're winning on the field. Right. Because you're playing well on the field. You're not going to keep making money if you're not playing well on the field. It's that simple. Like everybody else at work. Right? So motherfuckers need to step their shit up. Like there are definitely NIL, avenues that will suddenly be very dry to them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There are definitely other people that will get contracts instead of them, etc.
Yep.
It's business time, baby.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about last week, man.
Yeah.
Memphis. I was a little worried going into the game. I thought it'd be close, and I was worried about that. But I thought we'd win. I don't know. I thought we'd win.
I thought we'd win too, bro. I thought that was the gimme. It was supposed to be the gimme game, and that's no disrespect because last week I give them the props and everything.
Yeah, we couldn't run the ball. We couldn't throw the ball.
Couldn't block. Couldn't tackle.
What the hell are you guys doing out there trying to play fucking football? You can't do all the things.
Yeah.
Oh man, I keep getting fired up. I gotta. Right. I'm worried. I might have a heart attack, bro. Motherfucker's gonna kill me. It was just tough, man. It was just tough to see. You could tell in the play calling that they were just searching for something to work, and nothing was working. It was really, shocking. And then somehow we're favorites this week against Cal.
I don't know, man. And I do see in the Memphis situation, it was a situation where we were playing a team with a bunch of contingency. That was a team with a quarterback that had been there for multiple years. Yeah. A team with a bunch of seniors and juniors, and playing against a team that just literally was slapped together this year and still trying to find ourselves. So I saw, and you could see from how they played, like they were running their plays that they knew was going to work. They was catching the weaknesses on defense. If they see a person out of position or whatever, next play they're boom going right at them with the bread and butter that they're running or whatever. So give shout out to Memphis, man. It's still like at the end of the day with the talent and the depth that we have, that and at home, that no, you can't let that ride, bro. Like it has to be something changed, something done, something turned around by this week, or there will be serious questions and a hot seat situations talk with the coach. Because
you're right about. I mean, you said shout out to Memphis. It's right there. Like they came to play.
Yeah.
They came to play.
Good. Yeah.
It was just Florida State that didn't come to play.
Right.
Shit was crazy. We were favored to win the game. You know, even though we've been playing bad, we were favored to win the game by 6.5 points in Vegas, and we lost by 8. I mean, that's
pathetic.
Exactly. We were actually, you know what's crazy is other than the Florida State game, we were pretty spot on. I mean, there was only a few games that we even talked about last week, but we talked about Colorado going and playing Colorado State and being able to get their first win of the year. They were favored by 7.5. They ended up covering that. It was like 28-9 or something, 28-10. So whatever it was, they won. They handled. They do what they have to do, but. I mean, what's that really saying? Colorado State's no good, you know.
Right.
And then we had the biggest game last week was, or one of the big games last week was Arizona Kansas State, and we said like that's a really tough game to go into Kansas State right now. They are just the linebacking, the size and fucking talent at linebacking, like is just unrivaled, right? And like it's really fucking great. It's top tier in the country. And Arizona's a good team, but they weren't ready for that matchup. They thought they were good. You know, they were overconfident. You could tell early in that game. And it was a standalone night game, so a lot of people watched it. Arizona wasn't prepared. Plus 8.5, they ended up getting beat 31-7. I mean, like it was real bad.
Yeah.
The game that we talked about and we said watch Boston College keep it close against Missouri. Like Missouri was just too many points. It was 17.5 points. I mean, Boston College ended up only losing by 6. You know, that was an easy win. That was a real easy win. That was my most fun experience of the weekend of college football. Because Florida State game wasn't fun for me.
Oh man.
Yeah. And then we talked about FIU and FAU playing. That's a rivalry game, but it was at FAU and Boca, not FIU down in Miami. So I want to go to Pitbull Stadium. I want to go to the pit.
Yeah.
I want to go watch the Panthers play in the pit. Right? Like I'm not trying to go up to Boca. You know, I'm good. I'm not that old yet.
That's funny.
But we weren't. I mean, we were pretty spot on about some of the shit we were talking about with some of the games. There's a lot more good games this weekend than there were last weekend, right? Like there's a bunch of games versus ranked teams. There's 3 ACC teams that are in the top 25, and none of them are Florida State, and they all got big games this weekend. It's just like there's a lot more going on this weekend than last weekend.
Yeah. I mean, we got NC State at Clemson.
Yeah, that's a big one. They're getting 19 points. That's a lot. And I think it's that big because of what Tennessee did to NC State a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, Tennessee is doing that to everybody. We'll talk about Tennessee in a minute because they're playing Oklahoma. That's a big game. But Tennessee, man, they're so fast. Like, they kind of made NC State look really bad. And so I think the perception's a little off here. And also, I don't think Clemson is as good as Clemson has seemed so far. Maybe I'm wrong, and I've been wrong about them before. Oh, you agree? So, I think this is a good spot to make some money. I think 19 points is too many, and I think NC State plus 19 is a really a good play.
Agreed.
Tonight is Illinois and Nebraska. Illinois is 24 and Nebraska is 22. But it's the first time that 2 ranked teams have played in Lincoln in forever. And that used to be like the mecca of college football, you know? Yeah. Like Nebraska was the shit back in the day. So it's kind of crazy that it's been this long since they've had like a real big Saturday game, you know?
That's crazy.
Yeah, that spread is what? Nebraska's an 8-point favorite. That might be too many. I mean, Illinois is pretty good. But
it's in Lincoln though, right?
It's in Lincoln, and that defense is disgusting at home, and that crowd is going to be rowdy. It's a Friday night game. Motherfuckers probably woke up and went up there at 6 a.m. this morning and just started fucking crushing booze or man sodas or whatever the fuck they call beers out in fucking Nebraska.
City, hell yeah, bro. They taking that W.
We should have gone. That's what you're playing. What else we got this weekend? You brought up NC State Clemson. Also, Georgia Tech is at Louisville. Louisville is 19 right now and looking good, man. They're looking good. They're looking like they're looking like a really tough out in the playoffs is what they look like. Like they'll be in the 12. They might even win like the first game in the 12, but like they're just looking like they're gonna be a tough out in the playoffs.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
And they could I don't know, they could fuck around and win the conference too. So watch out for Louisville. 11 points is a lot. I think Georgia Tech's still pretty good, even though they didn't follow up what they did to us. But
yeah, I think the jury's still out on Georgia Tech.
Yeah. I wanted them to be great, and that's why we lost. But it's
yeah. We lost to a good side. Nah, you can't say that shit now. But also USC. USC and Michigan. About that, bro. Because Michigan looking like wow.
but they're still ranked 18th in the country, right? And USC's only ranked 11th. And I say it like that because spreads in football are based on perception of the public, right?
Right.
I don't think the betting public really knows how good USC is because they're fucking good. And I don't think the betting public realizes how bad Michigan is. They just still think they see Michigan like, oh, they were national champions a few months ago. Right? And so the fact that Michigan is only getting 5 points at home, to some people, they're going to see that and be like, whoa, Michigan getting 5 at home and hit that. I know good and well USC is more like 8 or 8.5 points better, right? Like that should be a bigger number because Michigan's not good. They're just not, and USC is good. So like I kind of like that play too. That's another good one this weekend.
Yeah, safe one. Definitely a safe one.
Yeah. But one of the weird game that I saw earlier today, and I'm just like not sure what's going on. If you look around at different books, you can bet Utah and Oklahoma State, both sides of that game, with 1.5 to 2.5 points plus. So you can get a plus number on both teams if you move like right now. It's crazy. Like I don't know if some teams think Cam Rising's not playing. I'm sorry, some books are presuming Cam Rising's not playing, and some books are booking it as if he is playing or what. But you can get a weird fucking window where you have plus points on both sides. It's a strange thing to do. It's not really like middling most lines because there's no tie in college football like there is in the NFL. But still, it's crazy that when it happens that you can get a plus number on both teams. That's really rare.
That's crazy.
Yeah. The other games to talk about. Really, there's three if you count Cal and FSU, but there's two other games. I brought it up earlier. Miami's going to USF. USF is getting 16.5 points at home. So I was wrong earlier, right? I thought it was 8.5. It's 16.5 points. That's a lot. Right? That's a lot. We talk about this whenever we see like a big state school playing the smaller colleges in that state. Like these guys at USF were the 2 and 3 star teammates to the 4 and 5 star guys at Miami. And there's always a chip on their shoulder. Right? There's always a chip on their shoulder like, man, if I didn't get that call. I didn't get that look. And sometimes it works. Sometimes they keep it close or they get the upset or some shit like that. And I don't think USF is going to upset Miami. But 16.5 points is a pretty big spread. Maybe they keep it close. Maybe there's a chance to make some money here.
Nah. For that one, bro. Because like you said, these are like 5 and the 4 stars going up against the 1 and the 2 stars with the 3 and the 4 stars behind them for depth. So
yeah, that's true. That's solid point.
and these games always go the same. They'll come out for the first quarter, be competitive, have their moments and stuff or whatever, and then Miami will start the pounding. They will just start with and what wins with programs like that versus smaller programs is just consistency. They'll go down every drive and get 7 points, and then they'll the other team is going to punt. The other team is going to kick a field goal. Other team is going to punt, kick a field goal. Next thing you know, it's like 28-6. So
yeah, and come fourth quarter, that smaller team has been hit so many times by the big guys that they just naturally become less effective. They're reacting differently, etc. So, yeah, you're probably right. Miami's gonna go in there and win by 25 or some shit.
Yep.
I think the biggest game of the weekend, though, is Tennessee at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's going to be a really fun one to watch.
Oh yeah.
Tennessee's getting 3.5 points on the road at Oklahoma. I mean, Oklahoma going into Norman, it's always been tough, right? It's traditionally tough. They're a powerhouse. They get up for big games. All the cliches. But this Tennessee team is better than they might be the best Tennessee team ever. It's not over yet, man. Watch what happens this year. That team is really fast on offense. Those receivers are crazy. It's not like they have the path if they can just not lose.
Right. That's saying a lot, though. That's saying a lot about them T. Martin, Peyton Manning years or whatever, because they had a bunch of receivers and a bunch of speed then. But I get what you're coming at. And their coach, he is phenomenal when it comes to play calling and personnel and putting the right people in position or whatever. And that's good to see at Tennessee. Haven't seen that since the good old days of Philip Farmer or whatever back in the day. So I will say it's awesome seeing them perform the way they are, and you could be right, man. That offense is hella explosive. It always has been. It's just gotten better every year with him getting more of the tools to fit what he wants to do on offense. So now that he has those tools, he can do more things. So it's like, reminds me of Steve Spurrier kind of at Florida when he took over, man. That's what he reminds me of.
Yeah, it's they're building a program around an identity, and they're getting better every year. And I just think they got this talent pool right now that roster's impressive, man. That roster's impressive. Yeah. So there's only one other game to talk about. See how much fun we had for a minute, and now still in the fucking mood.
Yep.
The vaunted ACC, just powerhouse. The Cal Golden Bears are visiting for is this their first time to Tallahassee? It might be their first time ever to Tallahassee, but they're as part of the ACC it is. They are coming to Tallahassee to play our Florida State Seminoles. Somehow, Florida State is favored in Las Vegas minus 2.5 points. Florida State hasn't won a game yet this year and hasn't looked good in any way. Cal, on the other hand, is undefeated. They are 3-0. Have you ever heard of this school that they beat in week 1? It's called Auburn. You think we can beat Auburn right now, Gainesville?
I can't confirm us beating nobody right now.
Exactly. I don't think we can beat Cal. Makes me sad to say that. Makes me sad to say that.
Not no guarantee.
Cal being an underdog is shocking, and I think if you're gambling on this, and if you're going to try to look at it with unbiased, I mean the good bet is probably to bet Cal on the money line and not even take those points and get the higher payoff. I don't know. Let's just talk about winning the game, man. What do we know about the Cal Bears?
We know that they have more consistency than us, man. They got more contingency. They got the fact that they're undefeated. They're 3-0. Just that alone gives you enough, faith to come in anywhere and play any 0-3 team, let alone or whatever, man. And then also you put in the fact that they're picked to be we're picked the favorites over them, and we haven't won a game, and they're undefeated. That's even extra motivated. After we just lost to Memphis the week before, after we just opened college football with an L in Dublin, like they really could come in there with something to prove, bro. I'm looking at it from the other angle, like.
First year in the ACC, they were already circling this game. We were already their Super Bowl. Like, we talk about it for years. We've always been everybody's Super Bowl. We get everybody's best game. They either really want to prove themselves against us, or they've been beat up by us so many times, they hate us, or a combination of the two, right? We've had it over and over the years. And this is their first time coming. They just joined the conference. They're trying to like, it's like when, hopefully none of our listeners ever have to get locked up. But when you get locked up, you go punch the first biggest, baddest motherfucker right in the face, right? Well, we were going to get that punch regardless. But now they smell blood on top of that, and then they get insulted by Las Vegas and the line and the betting public and all this. Like, that's a long flight, and usually that's a negative. Unless you're spending the whole time on that plane just seething, just getting ready. These motherfuckers, how the fuck are we the under motherfucker? Watch out, man. Watch out, dude. They got these 3 running backs that are all effective. One of them might not be at 100%, but I watched highlights of their first couple games, and I haven't seen our defense try, so I don't know if we have the ability to stop their offense right now.
Agreed.
I just don't know. If you got to bet it, I think you got to bet Cal, and you got to bet them. You don't even need those points, but it's easy to not bet. I just don't know what to expect out of Florida State right now.
Yeah, until they show us on something on the field, respectable, something, some decent gameplay, some consistency. Until they show us that it can be done, then every week you lose the money putting money behind the garden and goal. And I hate to say that, you know what I mean? I hate to say that because at least being alumni, huge fan, it's like, oh, it's my nose. Fuck that. I'm gonna put money on them. No, not this year. Nope. No. Like, they haven't shown us, because you can even lose and still have faith, because okay, we lost by a field goal, okay. Like, I would even say the game versus Georgia Tech, because they came back at the last possession or whatever, so that was an okay loss. But after that, everything has just been like, what the, you know what I mean? Like, so no, yeah.
Yeah, my expectations are at an all-time low.
Yep.
So, like, usually we end this thing with you giving, like, some sort of pep talk. Like, like, they need it more than ever. They need it more than ever. But, like, I feel bad even asking you to do it. Like I don't know if your heart's in it at all or anything, but
it's beyond the pep talk right now, man. I feel like they got to hold on. This is the time in your life where you must come with acceptance of who you are. You must look within yourself and find who you are before you go on the field. Be the calmest that you can be. Be the most understanding that you can be. Crowd out all of the noise, all of the talk, all of the alcohol, all of the girlfriends, everything, and just look in the mirror and say, what can I bring to Florida State football? And that's all I got.
Oh man. All right. Oh, I gotta go. Oh man. This is tough.
Right.
Oh, the national show It's spelled NATIONOLE. That's national. You know how to spell show. National Show. We are on YouTube. It's at National. Instagram at National. And we are on X. It is National Show. Holler at Gainstaville. He is on Linktree /Gainstaville. GAINSTAVILLE. There are links there to him everywhere on every platform ever invented. You can listen to his music all over the internet. In fact, you should listen to all of his albums, and you should listen to them each on different platforms, and make sure you are liking and sharing and rating and all that stuff. Speaking of those things, on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe and also like the video. You can, on the social medias, all that stuff. Tag us, share us with your friends. You can find the audio as a podcast at betyourash.com and on the Bet Your Ash feeds for both Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So go onto those platforms, like, share, rate, 5 stars, all of those things. Super helpful. We appreciate you. We got lots of stuff coming. We're gonna get some national merch going. We're gonna get our own audio feeds. We're gonna put the video in some more places. All that stuff. We're doing our part. We just need the team to go do theirs and try hard. Just try hard. I ain't gonna be mad if you lose as long as you go out there and bust your ass.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Did I forget anything?
Nope, you got it, bro.
All right,
Go Noles.
Go Noles.
And you have just finished listening to the National Show with Gangsta, Fizil, and McGee.